Other media outlets, Secretary of Veterans Affairs Doug Collins setting the record straight, putting out a video this weekend assuring veterans that their health benefits will not be cut.
Secretary Collins calling out the media for what he calls reporting to smear the Trump administration and DOGE. Secretary Collins, or as he said in his video, it's Doug, here to set the record straight. I mean, this is really dangerous. If veterans don't think they're going to get the care they need and they stay away because of this misinformation.
It is. Good morning, everybody. Look, we're doing everything we can to put mission one back at the VA, being the veteran, and so it was very important for us to take all those kind of rumors, innuendo, the hypotheticals, the possibilities that you and I both know that the media loves to run with, because it's something that they can run with. It creates a little bit of controversy, and then they can walk away with basically their hands clean. The problem is we at the VA have to clean up the mess. And to clean up the mess means that we have to explain to people what we're doing. And there is a lot of change going on. I'm not saying that there's not, but all of it is designed to get us to that primary focus of being veteran-centric, to the veteran for their benefits and the health care that they've earned. And I'll repeat it again, all that we're doing, whether it comes in the form, and yes, we've had layoffs at the VA, and we've had other things go on. They're all designed, though, to take and put resources back where they belong, and that is with our veterans.
Yeah, and some are reporting that DOGE is looking to steal personal information from your department. You say this is absolutely not true. DOGE representatives are simply just looking at contracts and making sure money is being spent on veterans and nothing else. Can you elaborate?
I'd love to, because here's another thing that I want to make sure it's very clear. I have VA employees who work for me who are our DOGE liaisons. This idea that there's, from our perspective, DOGE, running around and doing things, again, is it's misleading from the press, and we just need to make clear that we're actually, for the first time, I remember a time not long ago when Democrats actually talked about looking at the fraud, waste, and abuse in our government. I remember Republicans always talking about that in many ways. But now it's actually a president who says, you know what? Maybe time for talking's over. Let's actually look at this. And we're finding, contracts. We've already done away with the DEI issue, which took over $14 million between employees and contracts out of our budget, and replaced that back into the budget where we're putting it with veterans. And then things like $170,000 for Politico Pro. As I've said many times before, if our folks want to get, the Newsmax and the little newsletters from DC, they can do the free ones. It'll be okay.
So in addition to the budgetary cuts, you've also cut 1,000 employees last week, all who were in non-mission critical probationary positions, been on the job for less than a couple of years. You say it's going to save nearly $100 million. I mean, what does $100 million allow you to do to help veterans?
Well, it frees us up in many ways. And look, this is, again, it's in the last administration, let's remember, we've come a great deal and we've grown and our mission's grown. But at the same point, that doesn't always mean that you have issues of new employees or money. We got to make sure that the money and employees are directed at the right places. And so it lets us take time, focus on making sure our doctors, our nurses, our healthcare providers are having the resources that they need of equipment and issues of age. I mean, sometimes it's hard to realize that of 170 hospitals and others we have, a lot of those are 40 and 50 years old. Just the infrastructure is getting old. So it allows us to look at areas where we can improve that, functionality with the facilities, but also with the equipment as well. But again, everything deserves a fresh look. And so when we look at this stuff, some things that might have been, something useful in the past now need to be corrected so that we go back again. I can't emphasize it enough, to that veteran-centered focus at the VA.
And I know that you also made some changes last week, assuring that the only flag flown in Veterans Affairs facilities are U.S. flags or some sort of military flag. Tell me more about why this was needed.
Well, it's needed just to bring us back to our purpose. I'm still in the military and the Air Force, as y'all well know. The U.S. flag is the flag that we bind us under. And I think it's just going back to policy that was we've seen before. We use our U.S. flag, which is our pride in our U.S. and our service, but also the POW MIA flag, which is a symbol of those that we'll never forget and never leave behind. And it just streamlines us to where we're back under that one unity of let's focus on America. We would welcome all of our veterans who serve, no matter what their background or belief may be. But when they come back and they see our facilities, the facilities are going to represent the United States.
All right. Doug Collins, Mr. Secretary, thank you so much for joining us this morning. Appreciate it.
No, it's always good to be with y'all. Y'all take care.
You too.